For my motor learning and movement control video project, I will be teaching French. French braiding is a hair pattern that is formed by weaving 3 pieces of hair together, and each time the strand is moved, you increase the amount of hair in those strands. You start off the braid with 3 strands of hair, and you alternate crossing the right strand over the middle piece, then the left strand over the middle piece, etc. And each time the outside strands, the left or the right, are moved, you gather more hair that isn't already in strands and you add that to the strand you are moving. The phases of activity and body movements involved in French braiding all surround the fine motor skills in the fingers. It is a lot of intertwining between whatever fingers are comfortable for the braiders, strong wrist positioning, and steady hand placement in order to intertwine the fingers in and out and alternate switching the strands while also being able to add more hair to each strand as you alternate sides. The subject I will be teaching today is my younger brother Adam. He's 20 years old and has been sailing boats for as long as I can remember. And within boat sailing, there is a lot of rope knotting and tying and different types of similar braid techniques that are used. So I thought that he would be a great candidate to learn to braid hair. For the pre-practice trial, my brother used his friend Sydney because we did all of our practices and pre and post trials over FaceTime. And after watching him do his pre-practice trial, I noticed some of his strengths were great finger control, steady hand, and strong wrist positioning. But some of his weaknesses were loose weaving, slow speed, and the part down the middle of her head was very crooked. Do it yourself. So, okay. Sydney, I guess she could probably turn to the side, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, that'll work. So you have to grab your 3 pieces. Beautiful.
Okay.
And you're going to cross the right side over the middle, and then the left side over the middle. Okay, now take your right hand and grab more hair with it. And I'm just going to let you do it all by yourself.
Okay.
And that's why we're going to practice.
Yeah, I think I already did this wrong.
She's got a little bit of a little mess going at the top of the head right now.
Oh, I think I got it.
It's looking a little crazy at the top, so we're gonna have to work on that. Hand positioning, we need to keep it down so that after drawing all of my conclusions from his pre-practice trial, I came up with some areas that I think that he should focus on for his practices. And those include creating a straight line for the part, making sure the weaving is tighter than it was so that the braid is closer to her head, evening out the sections of hair that he adds to the strands he's weaving, braiding with the curve of her head towards the back of her neck instead of down towards the side of her ear, starting the braid closer to the hairline of the forehead, and increasing his speed. For his practice scheduling, we did mostly all weekdays, and we started off with just a partial practice recording our pre-practice trial, when then I could draw my focus areas that I think he should pay attention to for practicing and things like that. The next day, we then started just braiding with rope, doing a typical braid with rope because he is most comfortable with rope. Then on Wednesday, we did a whole practice, and I had him do 2 full French braids in Sydney's hair, one on each side of her head. And his focus was mostly to keep the center of the braid in a straight line down the back of her head. Thursday, then, we started off by focusing on having her hair parted evenly into 2 sections and getting those 2 braids to be pulled in even amounts and intertwined tightly. Then Friday, we did a whole practice and did 2 last practice French braids, took them out, and then we redid them to record our post-practice.
Yep. But for the sake of time, we're only going to film one. Good. I like that you started with a part improvement.
That was a little too big.
It's very quiet when I don't have to coach you through it.
I'm probably gonna have to speed it up or something.
Yeah, I will.
Sorry.
Well, no. Otherwise, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, it's just going to be silence.
Oh, right.
I'm very meticulous. I love it.
Thank you.
I washed my hair today, so it's definitely like really slippery.
It's fresh.
Would you mind leaning forward?
I would.
Thank you.
He's a little too tall. Beautiful. I love it. Your practice has definitely helped the tightness of the braid, and now it seems to be following along the curve of her head more. And how's the part looking? Do you have a straight line down the back of
His post. Again, some areas that he really improved were tightness, the straighter part down the middle of the back of the head. He followed the back of her head instead of behind her ear, and he did some even sectioning. If I were to do this experiment over again, I think that I would choose a subject that I can practice with in person so that I can physically help him correct his mistakes and show him things in a more hands-on manner than I was able to over FaceTime. FaceTime definitely worked, and we were definitely able to make improvements, but I think that the benefits would have been stronger had we been in person.